Hey, what's going on, everyone? Derek here, bringing you a Top 10 Tuesday. Yes, I am back with doing the Top 10 Tuesdays. It's been a long time, I know, and I'm back finally. So, what we're doing today is we're going to be doing some Australian films. This list was really hard for me to make because there's a lot of Australian films that I love, and some of the ones in my list might not be technically a horror film, but they're films I enjoy. The way I made this list was I there's a lot of films that I do like, and there's actually even some that I haven't seen yet, like The Loved Ones, which I did order another copy because unfortunately the copy I purchased doesn't play in my player for some weird reason. And I'm not gonna get into that again because I went on a rant on that on my update video. So yeah, and then there's other films that I do like The Wolf Creeks won't be on here because I do like those films. But I wanted to choose films that I've been watching a lot lately and stay with me after watching them and the experience. And these films are very solid in this list. Let's just put it that way. From the ones I chose, and they will stay with you if after you watch them, or they just ones. Some of them are actually newer films that are ones I've been just rewatching over and over again. So let's get into this. Number 10, we got the classic that I actually binge watched last night, and I actually reviewed this on my 31 Days of Horror, and that's Thirst. This is a really interesting take on vampirism. It has a lot of the first time I watched this, I wasn't too sure on it. I liked it and all, but it made me think a lot. And upon rewatching it, I actually liked it more than when I reviewed it. So yeah, it's a film that will stay with you because you'll think about it in your head for a while what's going on in the film. Then when you rewatch it, you're like, wow, and this I still I saw some stuff that I didn't see before going on with some of the characters, which I highly enjoyed. I recommend Thirst. You should check it out if you like vampire films. It's actually a very interesting take on vampirism. Check it out. Thirst at number 10. At number 9, we got another classic from Australia from the early days, and that's Patrick. I just actually watched this last night for the first time. I absolutely loved it. It's a very interesting tale about this man, if you see him on the cover, that he's comatose, he's in a coma, and he's really he has these telekinetic powers where he does stuff to people while he's in this bed. And it's a really interesting role for an actor to take. Period. His eyes are just open and just staring in a bed still. I highly enjoyed it though. It might be a little long for some people, but it's a really interesting story. So Patrick at number 9. Number 8, we got one of the newer films from the few past years, and that is The Babadook. Now, my first time watching this film, I was I was hearing a lot of mixed things about this film going into it. Like the boy was annoying. When I first watched it, I actually agreed with that statement. The child in the film was annoying the fuck out of me while I was watching the film. But upon rewatching it, I kind of understood how the film was going a little more. So the boy wasn't really bothering me because it was actually part of the film, and it's a really interesting tale about you don't know if the Babadook's what he is or the entity is, and it has a hidden message behind this film, which I actually got after we watching it a few times, and I actually enjoy this film now. It's one of my favorites of last year. So the Babadook what number are we? Yeah, 8. I always can't count during these, even still after taking a break. So bear with me. That was the number 8. Number 7, we got the new film from 2015, and that's Charlie's Farm. This is an awesome take on a slasher film with yeah, like, if you haven't seen this yet, I know that this just got a Region 1 release here in the States. This is the UK version. But yeah, Nathan Jones is this giant like force of nature killer. It's just outstanding, and the kills are awesome in this film. And yeah, this is a very interesting cast for an Australian film. I thought I would never rave about a film with Tara Reid in it. Let's just put it that way. She's not really that bad in the film, but it's highly enjoyable. If you haven't seen Charlie's Farm yet, Chris Sun is definitely a director to look out for, and I can't wait to see what he does next. So Charlie's Farm at number 7. Number 6, we got a film by Stuart Simpson, who's a director I've been hearing a lot of good things about, and I actually didn't realize he actually did this film when I purchased it. But I know his new film, which I actually just ordered, Chocolate Strawberry Vanilla. I heard good things about that, so I can't wait to check that one out. And this one is from a label. Don't let the label steer you away from this film, because it's not one of their films that they like produce themselves. It's one that they actually picked out and distributed. So don't let the label of who released this steer you away from this film. And that's The Demon Among Us, released by everyone's favorite company, Troma, by Stuart Simpson. Yeah, it's an interesting demon film, I have to say. I'll read this quote on the back. If The Evil Dead has ever had been co-directed by David Lynch, it could easily have turned out like this. There's a lot of like cool like shots in this film which I really liked, and it was just a really interesting story. And yeah, I could see like it had some weird like David Lynch moments in the film that I think were like inspired by Lynch. But the cool thing about this director is I heard every other film that he's done is very different. So I ordered both his other films, so I can't wait to check those out because I highly enjoyed this one. Yeah, so if you like demon films, Demon Among Us, grab that. Awesome film. Number 5, we got a found footage classic, in my opinion, and that's The Tunnel. Found footage is usually very hit and miss with me. It has to be a really interesting story and be done in a certain way. And when I first saw this, I actually enjoyed how it had like this documentary feel to the film. And it was just a very interesting like found footage film. The Tunnel, I highly recommend this film. It's been recommended to me before I even purchased it. And once I purchased it, I absolutely loved it. Awesome film. That's at number 5. Number 4, we actually got another film that's actually from the director of Charlie's Farm, Chris Sun, who's just done some. He's 2 out of 2 for me. I've seen 2 of his films, and they're just both amazing for different reasons. And this one's Daddy's Little Girl. This is a very awesome revenge film, which involves like this father whose daughter is brutally raped and murdered, and they find her on a beach. So what happens is he finds out what the person who actually did this to his daughter, and then he tortures him pretty much, and it's fucking brutal. The torture scenes in this film, oh my god. Yeah, this is a film I highly recommend. It's a film that I missed from last year, and I highly enjoyed it. Daddy's Little Girl at number 4. Number 3, we got a old classic Australian film, and that is Long Weekend. this is a very interesting like take on like an ecological horror film. Like this couple that they just take this vacation. They're like trashy. They like throw their cigarette butts out the window, not respecting nature at all, and pretty much nature comes back and bites them in the ass. And it's really well done. It's really like it does have a slow moving feel to it, but you follow these characters and then you see what nature does to them because when you first meet them you're like, wow, these are characters. But yeah, it's really, and the chemistry between these two is like kind of weird because they're a couple and stuff, but they fight a lot. So yeah, I really enjoyed this film. It had an awesome like atmosphere, and the setting and the ending's fucking awesome in this film. Long Weekend. Number 3. All right, number 2. This is technically not a horror film, but it does have some fucked up scenes in it, and this is a perfect 10 out of 10 for me. So even if it's not a horror film, I couldn't take it off this list. You know what I'm saying? Because I highly enjoy this film, and like I said with the previous film, don't let the title of the company steer you away from this film. And that's Mad Dog Morgan with Dennis Hopper. It's more of like it's about this. It's actually based off true events about this outlaw called Daniel Morgan. From what year? I don't know what century it was, but he becomes like he witnesses like these mass like thing in this village, brutal mutilation of the Chinese, and then he becomes an outlaw. He goes to prison. He gets raped, and then he pretty much when he gets out, he becomes like this badass outlaw and stuff. And Dennis Hopper's performance in this is actually one of his best, in my opinion. It's a very underrated performance by Dennis Hopper in this film. It has some awesome like gore, and there's some actually fucked up scenes in this film. Yeah, I highly enjoy this film. It's actually from Philip Mora, who you probably know he directed 2 of the Howling sequels, and not the best ones at that moment. But this is probably his crowning achievement. It's a really awesome film. This is a perfect 10 out of 10 for me. It's awesome, setting in Australia. Awesome film. Number 2. And at number 1 is one I actually just watched yesterday. It's not really, I guess some people don't consider this really a horror film, but it's a fucking total mindfuck, and that's Wake and Fright from Ted Kotcheff, who directed First Blood. This is about this guy who goes to Australia. He's a teacher, and there's a lot of fucked up shit that happens when he goes to this town. And it also stars Donald Pleasance, who plays this crazy character who does some fucking crazy things in the film. And there's a lot of like graphic scenes in this film. One scene in particular that had some controversy involving kangaroos. Yeah, this film stayed with me, even though I just finished watching it. I had to add it to the list because it is one of the most fucked up things I have ever seen. One of them, anyways, and it's gonna stay with me. Like, yeah, this film's fucking awesome. Wake Up Fright at number 1. Awesome film. Alright, guys. That's it for my top 10. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I left a few films off the list, like I said, like Storm Warning, Wolf Creeks, but actually Storm Warning's one I watched when it first came out, and I haven't seen it since because I actually don't own a copy of that. But I just ordered one, so. But some of these, like I said, some of these films, with the stuff that happens to them, it just stays with you, and you just enjoy the experience. That's why I wanted to do like a list based off those. So I hope you enjoyed it. like, subscribe, and comment if you've seen any of the films or have any questions about the films. And don't forget to check out everyone else's videos. So I'll see you next Tuesday. Peace out.